Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you guys are having a good night. It's Letter Drendel here. Um, this video is, I guess you could say it's kind of a response. This is gonna be a kind of a response video to a YouTuber that's very well known. Now, trying to figure out how to word this. This could potentially be one of the, I guess you could say, one of the more uncomfortable videos that I've had to do. And sorry, guys. Let me readjust here. Okay. It's for those of you who follow Boogie, that know what's going on. He posted a video about about his wife. He and his wife are now official. Well, not. I guess they're separated. They had separated and are getting divorced. There's a bit of it that I'm just gonna play a little bit from my phone here. See if I can get this to work. Here, I think it's and this is where, and for those of you who watch this, and Boogie, if you watch this too, I'm not, guys, I'm not going after Boogie. I'm not looking for, fame out of this. This is something that, as I was listening to the video, for me, it's hit some sore spots. And when I say sore spots, it's stuff that I could empathize with. So let me find that one spot here. Hold on.
Way better than I ever thought I could. I'm physically healthier than I've ever been in my life, and I know a lot of people were afraid that this was going to throw me off track and I wouldn't lose weight. Well, I've lost a ridiculous amount of weight. You guys know that I was in a plateau between like months 2 and 3. Well, I busted that plateau. I lost 20 pounds in 23 days between 2 doctor's visits. I'm about to hit that 400 mark for the first time. I'm very serious about my health. I'm very serious about my diet. And this has made me more serious about it because I'm being forced to be more active as I take care of myself, as I take care of the house, as I take care of my dog, as I take care of my business. I'm in and out of the car several times a week. I'm driving places. I'm doing everything, by myself. And then on top of that, I do have plenty of friends here in the area who are more than glad to help. I still have my roommate who lives with me, and he's been taking very good care of the things that I've not been able to find time to do. I've got friends coming over 3 or 4 nights a week to keep me company and to make sure that I'm in a good mood. We are planning new experiences. We're planning trips to take. We're just doing new stuff and doing stuff I've never done before and keeping myself busy by playing good games and watching good movies and concentrating on work and concentrating on the house and keeping busy. And yes, of course, therapy. I've talked with a therapist once already. I plan to move into therapy again moving forward to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly. So I'm going to be okay. In fact, I'm healthier now today and dealing with this bad stuff today better than I would have a year ago with good news. I'm doing better today with bad news than I would have been a year ago with good news because my brain and my body are better than they've ever been, and I love it, and I'm excited for it, and I just can't wait to keep pushing forward to becoming the new me. And this is a transition here because of the changes I'm going to make to the business, the changes I'm making to my body, and the changes I'm going to make to my surroundings and my home and everything else. This is just one more thing to change. And to say that I wasn't prepared for this would be absurd because they mentioned many, many times to me in support groups and elsewhere that this surgery and the recovery from it is really, really hard on a marriage. And that's not why we failed or anything close to it, I think. But it did play some factor. But I knew going in, 85% of marriages fail after the surgery within the first 2 years. I mean, I hate that we're a statistic, but now we are. And
All right, I'm going to pause the video for a minute. Now, he at the very beginning of the video, if you guys hadn't watched it, I'm going to post the link down below. But he had mentioned how they were keeping quiet about it, and he was finally able to make a video about it, and the video came out today. He mentioned as you guys heard, you know, he's despite the separation, you know, he's healthier than he's ever been physically and mentally. He's, you know, it's going through a transition phase. You know, he was, you know, he was prepared for the worst out of anything. He was hoping that during a break that, you know, I'm not going to play that portion, but they had taken, it's like a 3-week break, and 2 weeks in, she said, you know, he had mentioned that he said his wife had come to a decision that they wanted to be permanent. So, and as it's, you know, as the video said, they're getting a divorce. Now, one reason why that part itself hits home for me is because, and I'll go ahead and kind of give you a little bit of detail about me. You know, I'm 30 years old. You know, for the longest time I lived by myself. Well, let me do some backstory. I moved down here to where I am now in September of 2007. Went through a few relationships while I was part of this program to help young adults with learning disabilities to become independent. It wasn't the best experience for me, the program that is, but I did learn a lot of valuable things. In essence, you know, I was already good at like managing my budget, but doing the class that they had allowed me the opportunity to sharpen that skill, career orientation / career exploration. You know, preparing a resume, always updating it, and I got even better with doing that. Some social skills, and it's kind of what you guys might think. It's like, is that like a retard school? And it's like, and no, it's not like that. It's the program, like I said, it's meant for young adults with learning disabilities, or there's some that had some physical disabilities, to learn to become independent, to learn to be able to live on their own. And I count myself one of the fortunate few, or I can't say fortunate few, that's, well, I guess in my class, in the class that I was in, I was one of the few that became fully independent even before I was no longer part of that organization's program. You know, I had got, like, normally their goal was to have you a job by the time you're halfway through second year or by third year. I was fortunate to have gotten an internship that transitioned into gainful employment during in about a 6-month span that I'd had the internship at the job at that particular at that particular place, and it was a auto dealership where I worked in parts department. It was of the jobs that I've had, and I've had a total of, if I include volunteer work since I've lived down here, 4 jobs. There was one, like I said, auto parts department, and then there was I worked at a I guess you could say it's like a memorial park thing. If you guys want to look it up, look up Vulcan. I think it's called Vulcan, or look at the Vulcan statue, and it was the Vulcan. I can't even think of the freaking name anymore. Jesus Christ, this is what happens, guys, when my mind just doesn't, when my mind just goes blank. Actually, I think it's probably gonna be, because I have it down in my on my computer. Hold on a minute. But as I was saying, though, 4 full jobs, an auto dealership, and then shortly after, it was like, okay, here we are. So when I moved, when I got the in 2008, mid-June 2008, I worked in this auto dealership in the parts department. I don't want to give out names, the whole names, because, I don't, to be talked about. I worked there from June 2008 to late February 2010, when I was unfortunately laid off. And I remember the manager, when he told me, I was being laid off, he had meant, and I quote, "If I had my way, you'd be the last guy we let go." And I remember I broke down when I got home. I was devastated. And I didn't get another job, a paying job at least, for about a year and a month-ish. But the volunteer work was at a place. It was a Vulcan Park and Museum, a very good place. Really, it was like I said, it was only volunteer, so it wasn't paid. But it was enjoyable. It was a good way to change the pace. I worked there. I was volunteer from June to October of 2010 that year. And then in March, I ended up working at, and for those of you that had watched some of my videos, some of the video logs I did, you've seen it in my videos, TJ Maxx. I worked there, and that was the longest job I'd ever had. I started there March 4th of 2011, and they got rid of me, and over the stupidest thing. Something that I didn't do even, on June 15th this year. So I had the job for 6 years, 1 week, 4 days. And I was let go over the stupidest thing. Not the stupidest thing in the world. Definitely up there, though. I remember I broke down completely from that. And then the job that I have now, and I'm going to be honest, I did a life update there where, like I said, when it comes to my mental state in regards to job-wise, I think job-wise, I am probably in one of the best situations that I've ever been. Like, just the last 3 days, well, 3 days before yesterday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I had worked 40 hours. 40 hours. My feet were killing me. And I worked yesterday too, and oh my God, my feet, did I pay for it. But at the same time, so back to the original point. When it comes to Boogie, when the stuff he talks about, like I said, his mind, he's in a much healthier place. And he talks about how he feels like he's a statistic because of his surgery and how marriages couldn't survive it. I'm not going to really call bullshit on that, Boogie. I'm not going to call bullshit on that at all. But I think considering yourself a statistic, and this has come from a guy, and I'll go ahead and tell you guys, I've never been married, so I can't really say, but so you guys, and I can already see the hate. It's like, you don't know how marriages work. Why the hell are you trying to give Boogie advice? Why are you trying to say this and this? Look, guys, I may not know what marriage was like. I'm not going to know probably till I get married, which could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I don't know. I'm 30 years old. I'm more focused on my job. I'm more focused on trying to make, how he said, he's more focused on himself, trying to make himself into the person he wants to be. I'm in the same boat. I'm focused on making myself better. But when it comes to him, and maybe this, like I said, I think saying that you're just you and your soon-to-be your ex being a statistic, I wouldn't call you a statistic at all, Boogie, because, and I actually mentioned this in a comment, at least you guys are on speaking terms, good terms, trying to be friends, you care about each other, you keep in touch. You want a statistic? Try going into marriages that end up with a divorce where both sides hate each other's guts over something so stupid. Now, that comes to my second part. He mentioned one of the reasons was of their separation going into divorce was his anxiety. I could understand that, dealing with anxiety. There are times where, and then how he would, on occasion, say things, do things that were incredibly stupid. And honestly, and sometimes it's controllable, sometimes it's not. For him, what he has is medically diagnosed. I understand where he's coming from in that regard. And to be honest with you, the reason why, like I said, it hits home with me because I do suffer anxiety at times. And if I ever do an actual video about myself, talking about myself, that'll probably be a video for another time. But I can completely understand the mentality that you're in when you deal with things that you do. Like he was dealing with weight troubles. I'm trying to deal with weight troubles. It's not as bad as his, but for my height, I'm definitely overweight, and I'm struggling as well. And part of it is because, I'm more focused on my job. And some people will say, well, can you balance the two? I can. The downside, though, and this is kind of where, it kind of separates me and Boogie. He and his wife were around each other 24/7. They got along great. The downside with me is the fact, I no longer live by myself. Like a lot of my previous vlog videos before the last couple of months, you guys would just see me mostly by myself. Mostly. Not anymore. I now live with a roommate that very demanding, very pushy, controlling, and dumb to the point where, I can't say dumb. It's what's the word I'm looking for? I guess negative, super negative, and it just pushes my buttons. My roommate knows that it makes me angry when she does these things over and over and over and over. What angers me though is that she took no responsibility and just keeps doing them anyway. And to make it worse, she puts the blame on me, saying that I'm the reason why she's acting that way. And it's her mother has said this. My friends have said this. That it's not my fault. I don't control how she acts. So let me play some more of this video. The remaining 2 minutes that I had saved over.
If you're worried about Daz, don't be. I'm not going to go into her personal details because that's something she definitely does not want me to do, and I think it's the wrong thing to do, but I can say that she is surrounded by friends and family who are going to take very good care of her. She's a strong, independent woman who will take care of herself very well moving forward, and on top of that, if she ever needs help, we're friends, we're going to stay friendly, and I'll be here to help her anytime she ever needs, and she knows that. So you don't have to worry about her, you don't have to worry about me, you don't have to worry at all. We're going to be okay. As scared as I am, and as hurt as I am, and as confused as I am, I have as much hope as anything. I'm looking forward to the future where I have new experiences, and I meet new people, and I do new things in a brand new body and a brand new brain, and reinventing and recreating myself and just being whoever I'm meant to be. And I just watched Star Wars, and you've probably heard it in the trailer, but Kylo Ren says, let the past die, kill it if you have to. It's the only way to become the person you're meant to be. And I have a lot of stuff in my past that I need to kill, and I don't know if I should be listening to Kylo Ren, but it makes a lot of sense here, and that's something I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to put all of this stuff behind me, the anxiety disorder and the child abuse and the PTSD and the eating disorder and everything else and rebuild who and what I am from the ground up. And I'm so excited and so hopeful for it, even if it's terrifying. Everybody has their midlife crisis, and I guess this is mine, but I got to tell you, I'm not worried because I sucked at being married, and I sucked at being happy because it was new to me. But this I'm used to. This feels like home. You know, this is where I prosper. So I'll let you guys go. Thanks for watching. I love you very much. I'll speak with you again soon.
Okay, so you know, it was very mature not to talk about it, the ex, as you know, respecting his ex-wife's, or you know, her wishes. And then he mentioned a lot of the stuff that you guys heard, you know, his anxiety disorder, the PTSD, child abuse, rebuilding himself from the ground up. The past is a hard thing at times to just get rid of. And, you know, like I said, yeah, Kylo had said, let the past die, kill it if you had to. I can empathize with that because, in a similar sense to Boogie, I had a very terrible childhood myself, you know. I had a very bad upbringing. I was just treated like shit by a parent who I felt treated my full sibling as the favorite. I was just the black sheep that just, the only place where I felt safe was in a bedroom with a locked door. I felt like it was it's not, and it's, in a sense, it may not be the exact same as Boogie. You know, he's got, as he said, his anxiety disorder, the eating disorder, the PTSD, child abuse. Not the fourth one I can empathize with and relate to, because I went through abuse, and, well, I still got a slight scar here, even though it's mostly faded, thankfully, but it's still, to me, right here, it's still a living reminder of what I went through as a kid. And nobody, whether it's me, Boogie, or any kids who are brought into the world, who are growing up, being brought up, whether it's by single parents or a full, you know, a broken family, or, you know, broken home, or a family that's, I guess you could say, is not perfect, but I guess your everyday average family. No kid, no person should go through what I've gone through, what Boogie's gone through. And Boogie's talked about a lot of his personal demons. I go through a lot myself, though I don't really talk about them. And the reason I don't talk about it a lot on this channel is just because I just don't feel, it's just a comfort thing, you know, and maybe it's also a pride thing, you know, not like the whole macho man type of pride, but just, you know, I don't want those who are my viewers to feel that, you know, hey, is Loto okay? Is he going to be all right? What's wrong? Or, you know, I don't like causing, I don't want to say unneeded worry, but I just don't like causing worry at all. I don't like making people worry about me. It's one of those things, and maybe, like I said, maybe that's where the pride in me kicks in, is that if I make people worry, it makes me feel bad. And one of the things that a lot of my friends had always mentioned was that I'm considered an empath, because what people feel, whether it's depression, anger, happiness, I'm able to feel it myself. It's like if I'm next to a person that's really hurting and broke down crying, I can feel the pain myself, and it hurts. And maybe empath is not the right word. I don't know what the right word for it is. But so some other things that Boogie had mentioned, like I said, his midlife crisis. He sucked at marriage, sucked at being happy. You're not alone, Boogie. You're not alone in that aspect. There are people out there who were never happy, or when they finally get the happiness they've been looking for, they just don't know what to do with it. I'll give you guys a good example about something like that. I was in a relationship. It was October, and I'm gonna talk, and I'll go ahead and talk about it. It lasted from October of 2010 until April 10th, 2015, on the day of my ex's birthday. Of all days, I know. But what happened? Well, I'll give some backstory, I guess. She had moved from Florida in October, in October, and within about a week of her moving in, I met her through an ex of mine who I was with at the time. They were next door neighbors, and so she and I got along great and hung out a lot. We had a lot similar interests. Like, she was into Yu-Gi-Oh! I was into Yu-Gi-Oh! Music interests. She got me into some music of hers. I got her into some music of mine. And then what ended up happening was that her next door neighbor, aka the person that introduced us, that I was with, she got super paranoid, super angry, thinking that the next door neighbor was gonna steal me away, and then proceeded to cheat on me with a former best friend 4 times that I walked in on. So, and despite me always saying nothing's gonna happen, still did it anyway. So, to fast forward about a week, the girl that I eventually ended up with, like I said, that lasted from end of October. It was actually 3 days before Halloween, so the 28th of October of 2010 to April 10th, 2015. What led to that relationship starting was, God, she was with the guy back in her home state and found out that he had cheated on her. And I remember she called me upset. She wanted me to head over to her apartment. I remember running, and it was I think it was 35 to 40 degree weather. And I didn't even hesitate. I just ran over to the apartment, short sleeve shirt, shorts, and flip-flops. 35 degree to 40 degree weather, you guys will probably think, what the fuck were you thinking? I wasn't thinking. A friend of mine was upset, and I just ran out. So, when it comes to, and as time went on, like I said, that relationship started, and I gotta be honest, it was some of the happiest times I've had because of the fact that, we got along great. There was no gray area. We knew when we needed some time, to separate a little bit, give each other space. When we had problems, we talked it over. If emotions ran high, we'd split up, not break up, but give each other space to cool our jets off, and then after emotions cooled back down, talk again. We did a lot of activities together, Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, Pokemon tournaments. I got her into the video game world, so to speak. No, I can't really say I got her completely into it. I think she played some before. God, I can't remember anymore. But I do remember, when she got into Yu-Gi-Oh more, I gave her a lot more of my duplicates or cards I wasn't using to help her get started. She was using the Fortuna deck, or fortune ladies, gravekeepers, which she still has. And, as time went on, things were great. The only downside was that she smoked, which, for those of you who don't know anything about me, for me, that screws up my system really bad to where I get sick. And to a point where, if it's bad enough, I end up being bedridden for 1 to 2 days. And it was to a point, she tried to quit, and unfortunately, she was not successful. But she got it to where she would smoke away from me, and whenever she finished, whether it be, I guess the breath fresheners or brushing her teeth, she'd do whatever she could. She did what she could to get rid of that scent, that smell, so that way, and especially if she smoked in her apartment, she, whatever you call it, the Febreze, Glade, to accommodate to where I didn't suffer the side effects. 2014 rolled around, and it was August, and she moved back to her home state, and she, when we started talking about last month, she even said, to be fair, she had said, and I quote, "To be fair, I didn't really give you any heads up. I wasn't really fair to you by doing that. I didn't try sticking it out to the end of your lease." Now, the reason why that part's said is because, and this is where, the whole thing, I was happy. She was happy. But there were things between us that kind of separated us, like with how Boogie talked about, his anxiety, how his ex-wife, or soon to be ex-wife, you know what I mean, how she was very sensitive. They were, it was like two different people. They tried making it work, and they just couldn't. We made things work to a point where we talked about the possibilities of getting married, or possibilities of living together and all that. And then August rolls around of 2014, and she moves. And I remember that day, I was upset, but I did everything I could to hide it. We kept in touch on the phone. We talked on the phone, texted, talked on Facebook. Then I find out over time that there's this other guy that she's talking to. And for me, it's kind of raising flags because she struggled with being lonely. She suffered from some depression issues, I felt, because she was always alone, and it was a feeling she hated, and honestly, I could understand that. And I felt that this dude preyed on that weakness of hers and sabotaged my relationship with her, because I ended up finding out on her birthday that she's cheating on me with this guy. I find out on her birthday after I had sent her my Wii with my GameCube memory card, my Wiimotes with the I guess the nunchucks. And then shortly before I found out the truth, I had sent her something that I never wanted to part with, but I did it out of the goodness of my heart, a Fire Emblem Special Edition 3DS. And the night I found out about everything, I had a complete meltdown. I contemplated a lot of things, suicide, verbally, I was devastated. I was beating the lip. It was to the point where if I had snapped any farther that night, I could have physically probably beaten the living hell out of myself. And thankfully, thanks to very good friends that I have, that I consider myself blessed to have, I didn't. And, later on, as I started with this channel, I actually made some videos, because she was talking about, she wants to be with me, but I was conflicted because she was still with this dude, cheating on me with this dude. And I had said, what should I do? And then I made another video talking about, once a cheater, always a cheater. Once a liar, always a liar. And I remember that was shortly after. And then I find out in last year, February, they got married. And the dude told her she could never talk to me again. So I was already seeing signs that this guy was controlling. Okay, I'm starting to deviate off topic. Well, anyway, so we fast forward with this. We go into a period where we're not talking at all. I was blocked on her Facebook. And then, but during that time, I'm keeping in contact with her mom. And I come to find out she, as in my ex, had disowned her family. And I saw it through Facebook posts. There was hints of it. She had pretty much got rid of her family to be with this guy. Whether it's because the guy forced her to do it or because she chose to do it, I don't know. I've heard so many stories, but the reason I believe the mom, because the mom's never lied to me before. Now, yes, my ex was always annoyed by her mother being around, feeling that her mother never let her make mistakes, never let her learn them. I can empathize with that, and that's different from the Boogie situation. But at the same time, it's like, you suck at being happy. Like, you're happy. It's like you get something that you've always wanted, but then now that you have it, it's like you don't know what you should do. That kind of thing, But overall, like I said, when it comes to this Boogie, if you actually see this, I'll be surprised. I would be very surprised if you saw this. I'd be surprised if any of you who watch it make it this far. But no, you're not a statistic, Boogie. You're not the status quo. You had some problems, yes. You have your demons. Everybody's got something that the proverbial chip on your shoulder. For me, like you, it's my past. But the thing that keeps me surging forward, and this was something that my grandfather always said, if you keep looking to the past, you'll never have a future. If you keep worrying about the past and you keep looking back, you'll never be able to move forward. Now, I'm not going to say Boogie's not going to be able to move forward, because I think, honestly, the way he did the video that I had watched, I'd say he's come a long way. And I've been subscribed to his channel for about 2 years, maybe 2.5, give or take. What drew me to his channel was the Francis videos. God. And I think the first Francis video I saw, The Elder Scrolls. Oh my God, that was probably one of the funniest I'd ever seen. Because then I actually started watching more of his Francis videos, and Francis is just this raging character, how just rages at everything. And in this one particular video, he was like, "I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna do that." And it's just like, Boogie to me is a very entertaining guy. He's whether it's as Boogie or as Francis, he's entertaining. It's great to watch his videos. He's definitely in my top tier of people that I enjoy watching. He's not number 1, but he's probably in my top 5, if not top 10, if not top 5. So overall, I guess this video is kind of, it kind of deviated where I talked a bit about myself and what I've gone through. But I guess the overall thing with this, Boogie, you're doing a great job. you've done a lot of good things for yourself. You know, the gastric bypass, losing so much weight. You've got your, you know, your state of mind and your physical health. Your mental and physical health, as you've said, is in the best state that it's ever been. That right there is two things right there that should help you keep pushing forward. And as you said, you and your ex-wife are still friendly, are still going to be friends. So that's another plus. Doesn't mean, I mean, you say you suck at being happy. I don't think you suck at being happy, Boogie. I really don't. I think it might be certain things that you may not know how to handle, maybe. That might be the wrong turn of phrase. But I still say, despite everything, you've done a fantastic job for yourself. Acknowledging your flaws, knowing what you can do to make yourself a better person. That right there is great for you. It shows the kind of person you want to be, because you want to be better. And everyone should strive to be better. And the reason why I say you're not a statistic, you're not in the status quo, is because you guys are on friendly terms. You guys are still care and worry for each other and are able to move forward on great terms with each other. Most marriages, whether it's because of the surgery, and I don't think that is the leading cause for that, Boogie. I don't think. But then again, I can't really say. I've never gone through it. But just, trying to give some encouragement. You've done great. You're doing great for yourself. Just hang in there. Do what you do best. Do what you know you can do to make you happy. Because, at the end of the day, as long as you're happy with you, that's all that matters, right? At least that's how I would look at it. Now, it might be one opinion versus a collective others. Maybe even different. Might even be different from yours. But I'd still say you're doing a fantastic job for yourself, despite the obstacles, despite your adversity. And that can be an inspiration for others around you. You never know. So, that's all I got to say for you guys. Sorry that this went into kind of a long ramble. It was supposed to be kind of a response/encouragement video for Boogie. Boogie, if you do see this, maybe you'll take some of what I said to heart. You don't have to. You could probably consider this the ramblings of just an outsider. But I really hope you are able to, I really hope and pray that you're able to get through this. And I'm pretty sure you can anyway. So I hope you guys have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Tell me what you guys think of it. Tell me, and if, like I said, if Boogie sees, if you guys want to share this to Boogie, feel free. Like I said, I'm not looking for fame. I'm just giving an outsider's thoughts and encouragement to a guy who even though he has said, don't worry about me, I still wanted to get my thoughts across, my thoughts out there while they're refreshing my mind. So have a good night, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new to this channel, be sure to, and you want to see more, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell, and even go through some of my older content. Have a great night. Have a great week. For those of you going to school, get good grades. And for those of you who go to work, like me, or Boogie, even though it's a YouTube thing, but still, for those of you with a job, do great work, make your bosses and yourself proud, and you've got it made. Peace.